Let's do this.
Come on.
This is awesome, man. The Bear Cave. Excited to be here.
The Bear Cave.
Yeah.
The Bear Cave. We made it happen.
Yeah, we've been talking about doing this for a long time. This is just like, hello, everyone. We are Oliver and Miles. My name is Miles Finn. I'll be your host for today's journey into the podcasting world.
Yeah.
We've been talking about doing the Bear Cave for a while, probably since we started. You and I both started here at AISC together. So we've had a while to talk about this. And then when my 9th grade media and film class finally got these microphones and this whole setup, we were like, hey, we need to do something to also, showcase what's happening in the school and give other people an opportunity to come and talk and share their story, which is super cool. Mm. So that's where the Bear Cave idea kind of started. But
Indeed,
you and I get to be the first episode, which is cool.
Yeah, we will. To introduce it all. I think Nadine also was like, we used to do a podcast in my old school. Yeah. And we were like, oh.
I've never heard of a school doing one, but it makes sense. You have enough interesting people. And I think in an international school community anyway, you have so many interesting perspectives that are cool to have on a show like this.
Definitely,
cool. Yeah. But so how did I'll talk about my journey to getting to AISC at some point too in this episode, because I think that's kind of cool to get us going. And I think everybody, like I said, has an interesting story to tell. But how did you get to here? What else have you done to bring you to AISC? Because I think that's you've told me your story, but they haven't listened to your story. So I'm curious, what is that like?
For sure. Well, I wasn't originally in international education.
Yeah.
I was in events management, organizing events in Asia, lived in Singapore for quite a long time, and worked in this kind of marketing, events agencies, world, big brands, corporations, kind of like Emily in Paris in real life.
Yeah,
I'm Emily, but not the fancy way.
Yeah.
But
the shoes, man, the shoes are always on point.
The shoes are on point, but the events were Emily in Paris style, but they don't show, in the show, they don't show how much you bleed in these kind of jobs, from working 7 days and sleeping 3 hours per day and all this stuff,
that's nuts.
But the end result is pretty fun. It's fun, to be a part of a Cartier launch or whatever, So that's fun. But I was always a part of education because I'm a musician myself, and I was always educating kids on how to produce music, play guitar, a little bit of drums, and I worked at these little kind of production studios where kids would come and want to learn certain recording skills, etc. So that was my kind of segue into education. And then my girlfriend at the time, she worked at American International School in Singapore called AISZ.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of suggested hey, why don't we try and move to Europe, And we looked at it seriously, and we looked at Zagreb because I'm from here and it's my home base. So to move a little bit, change perspective a bit. And she applied for a job in the American school here.
Dope.
Here, AISZ. They didn't have a position for her. So we were like, okay, let's keep looking further. We kind of didn't look more. In the meantime, unfortunately, we split. So, but I was still keen to move closer to home and move back home. But we stayed on good terms. And I asked her hey, do you by any chance have a contact from the person from AISZ? Because I just want to apply and see what they have. That's openings that they have. And she sent me a contact from Hannah, our HR. Sent her an email. Within 2 hours, Hannah comes back and says, hey, crazy you should ask, but we just have the person that ran communications, events, marketing has announced that she's leaving. So we have an opening in 2 weeks.
So the timing was just perfect.
It was just...
it worked out exactly how it was supposed to.
I still remember I was in Singapore, I was sending the email, and I was just sending random emails to different companies applying for jobs.
Yeah.
And Hannah just came back and said, we have an opening in 2 weeks and your CV looks great.
Amazing.
And it went from there.
And you've had some super cool stuff that you've been working on here, which is awesome. And I've got questions that I want to ask you about later, because there are some super cool projects that you've got working on that I'm excited for the rest of the community to get a chance to check out too. Had you at other international education experience? Did you go to international schools as a kid?
I did, yeah.
You did?
So my family and I grew up in Zagreb, but due to my parents' work, At some point, they got an offer to go to China when I was about 15, 14, 15, to move to Shanghai. And they said, sure, let's do it. I mean, they asked the whole family, they were like, are we ready for this move? Because at the time, I mean, that was like 2013. Very little families in Croatia that we knew were moving to Asia.
Right,
it was just like a
Yeah.
very random proposal.
Yeah.
And all of our friends and family friends, they were like, you guys like are wild.
What are you doing?
Like, what are you doing?
Seriously.
Like, stay here.
Yeah.
Why are you going there? What kind of world is there?
Right,
anyway?
exactly.
I mean, it's not like people didn't know China, but Shanghai has really been only built in the past, like 50 years or like 40, 30 years. It was like, if you see the pictures from like 2000 up to now, it's like
it's a completely different
two
city.
different cities,
yeah, for
right?
Sure.
Like it's just wild how much it grew. So
and continuing to grow.
And continuing to grow. And then when we showed people pictures of Shanghai, they were like, what is this? Like they didn't believe it, the buildings and all this stuff. And me and my sister, we were super excited. Like, let's go, let's get out of here. Not that we have anything against Croatia, but it was just like,
it's an adventure.
It was fun.
Yeah,
like
for
me
sure.
and my sister, we were like, oh, we have to.
And as teenagers, like to get to go on an adventure like that, you're like, sweet, let's do this.
So we were like, yeah, let's go.
That's amazing.
So we packed up our things and went.
Yeah.
And
so you were there from 15 on to
I was there until I was 17.
Oh, yeah.
Stayed there for 2 years. I went to a British school there.
Cool.
The whole thing, uniforms,
strict
code,
my man.
Just a very British school.
Yeah, for sure, sure.
A great school, nonetheless, like a very, very fun school. And then we moved to Singapore for another few years, and I finished school there.
Cool.
And another British school. I was there, a pretty, that one's even stricter, like very rich history, very rigorous.
Yeah.
But great, like music programs and everything. So like we just thrived in that environment because my sister's into filmmaking. She went to film a lot and did some movies with the school, and I'm music production. They had a music studio in the school, so I was just living in there,
Dope. That is and so did you start working with, because you and I have talked that you love working with Logic and doing like music production and stuff like that. So you started doing music production there. Were you like starting to create your own music there?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So like in Singapore, until you move to Singapore, you don't really know about this, but Singapore, every house legally has to have a bomb shelter.
Oh.
Due to some historical reason, I guess there was some alert before in wartime that like bombs were coming, and Singapore is it's a city country, and they could be occupied very quick if something went wrong. So they just have this very rigorous like sort of military is mandatory for boys, 2 years of military, and every house, every building has to have a bomb shelter for the citizens. So we lived in a house and we had a bomb shelter in two levels below the ground.
Wow.
And it was this room that's pretty big. I mean, it's probably like a quarter of the black box.
Sure.
And it was just, people use it for storage.
Yeah.
And I just asked my parents, like, can I use it for music?
Yeah.
Like, I want to get a drum kit.
Yeah.
I want this.
And it's like relatively soundproof too.
It's pretty much soundproof.
That's amazing.
I mean, you can hear it in the house, but you can still pad it up, close it. It's quite okay.
Yeah.
So they were like, yeah, cool. So I equipped it with I brought all my guitars, got a used set of drums, saved up some money, went to buy this kind of I forgot what's the Tascam 2000, US 2000 interface for like $150, like some used one,
Yeah.
Borrowed some microphones from the school. The sound engineer there was like, yeah, we have some old stuff, like don't even bother bringing it back. Sweet. Basically. I was like, cool.
So you just we're getting this whole studio.
So I had a studio, a small studio, and I had no idea what to do.
Yeah.
But somehow, I was learning little by little, and all of a sudden, word around school got that Oliver is recording music. You know? So all my friends, people that record, that want to sing and stuff, they were just living at my place after school, just playing,
come down into this
jamming.
bunker with me.
Exactly.
Let's play music in this bunker. That is so
unreal,
cool.
Yeah. So that was a cool experience.
That is a super cool experience, and it's a unique one for sure. But that is also, it tells so much about who you are as a person, which is cool.
It was this the community,
gotten creative in your own way,
it,
and you were able to bring people in, and
that's the part that I love. And I made so many of them, still my close friends, till today, that we still, we don't live in the same city, but we still talk and communicate. We were we stay in touch, and we probably will remain friends forever. So, yeah.
But
really
that experience
brought us
gave you
close
that.
together. Yeah.
That's dope.
That was a cool experience for sure. Yeah.
But so do you feel, if you have conversations with students at AISC, do you feel like you are able to relate to them a little bit better because you went through an international school experience?
Yeah, definitely because of like IB experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Before
Yeah.
IB, it's different. Like I went through like a British education system, so it's quite different to the American. But and the uniforms and all that,
Right.
like it's very different here.
Yeah,
right? You
for
see
sure.
kids are like free to wear whatever
Yeah,
they want. Basically,
absolutely.
in British
Yeah.
school, if you like, you know, once I went to school in like brown leather shoes instead of black, and the principal that time he came to me and he was like, "This is getting a little extreme." Huh? And I
Oh
was
no! Oh my god!
And here I am wearing like sneakers
Yeah,
and stuff. You
yeah.
know, like it's very different.
That's so funny.
But IB, I can relate for sure.
Yeah.
I know exactly what they're going through when I see them like hustling.
Just
you know?
rigorous. Like there's just so much that's happening with that.
It's a big program, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it's very different to, like, for example, in Croatia, you have 17 subjects. I had when I went to high school here, I had like 17 subjects, and all of them were like textbook in hand, read your stuff, go and write on the exam what you learn, and practical part was missing. And maybe I'm wrong, but that was my first year, my first half of the first year, which I was in Croatia for high school, and then we moved.
Yeah.
And maybe later the practical comes in, but to my sort of what I saw my friends go through, and everybody was like struggling with subjects they don't want to do.
Yeah.
And in IB, it's like, well, you choose your 6 subjects, you choose whatever you want to take.
And then you just
Standard level, higher level.
Yeah.
And the standard level is the ones you maybe don't care for so much.
Sure.
But the higher level is the one that you really are like passionate about.
Right.
So you can imagine mine was, you can guess it, music,
yeah.
business, and I think I took higher level language, literature, English, you know, or something like this. But
And that's so cool, like that can so quickly relate to what you're going to do with the rest of your life, which is amazing. And for some kids, I know that it can stress them out too. But then I feel like they're like, we here, I think, have such a good team that just kind of like helps you talk through like, okay, like you don't like that, that's fine. You tried it. Let's go on and maybe try something else. So, I mean, you're not shopping around for classes per se, but like you still get the opportunity to like try things out, which is really, really neat.
Well, yeah, that's stressful because you're like, what if I change my mind in like 5 years and I don't want to do it? Well, that's the good part about it. You still do those 6. And like, even though I did standard level physics, technically when I was applying for universities, they looked at that standard level physics. And if I wanted to go down the route of physics, I could have because of the standard level.
Well, and you had the IB
in some way.
experience.
I could have, like I couldn't have probably gotten into like top science schools with that. They were requiring a lot more, but you can still pursue that route somewhere else and get to the place of like success in a way.
Right.
So it's not like the higher level defines you forever. And also it's not like IB defines you at all in a way. Like the final point count determines where you're gonna go. So like even if in the end you really determine you want to go into a totally different route from what you've done English and business and music like me, I was looking at like law schools, for example. Because I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind being a lawyer. And I know it relates to English a little bit, but like at the same time, you know, I still considered it. And they looked at my overall score, which wasn't the best. So I couldn't get in. And then I went the route of like, you know, I mean, it was decent. I think I got like 35 points or something like this, which in my school was like quite low.
Really?
Yeah, kids were like just getting 40s, you
That's
know,
crazy.
like, yeah.
That's crazy.
I forgot how much, but it was around there, like 35. And I got into and then it was between like music, business, and culinary.
Oh.
Very randomly.
Okay.
And then in the end, I went to a music university and changed my life for sure.
Keep rocking with the
so like one advice is like, I wasn't like at the end of my year in my high school, we had this presentation like on stage, I guess where you graduate and then they put which school you're gonna go to on the screen.
Sure.
Where you got in.
Yeah.
And everybody had like, you know, Cass Business School, Cambridge, UCL, Imperial, like all of these big names in London.
Right.
And mine was this university called like BIM London, you know? And everybody's like, what's that?
Yeah.
You know?
But you just got to do your thing. Yeah.
But
honestly, best decision of my life.
Yeah.
I was interested every single day in what we learned.
For sure.
It got me into like record labels. I worked at record labels during university. I worked at one of the most famous music venues for 2 years in London, Royal Albert Hall. So
amazing.
Like hundreds of shows during my work.
Yeah.
Met tons of famous musicians, made tons of connections that later helped push me like towards the route that I took. So if anybody thinks that the name of the university is like something that's going to define you for the rest of your life, sometimes like probably kids that went to Cambridge can get into some really crazy companies straight away and start making good money and stuff. But if you're just doing it out of fear, I think maybe you should go the route that I took, which is continue with your passion, because that passion is going to get you that success.
Absolutely.
Ultimately, and those kids that went to Cambridge that are passionate about a Cambridge subject, which they took, they will find success in it because they're so passionate about studies and high level education and all this stuff, Whereas I was more into like getting to work, and working with musicians and working on events and things like that. So
so I mean, you just find that thing that you're passionate about, pursue that with your full heart, and like that's the most that you can ask, which is so important.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
that's quite the story. Like mine is very different than that because I'm from a small town in Iowa, for like 5,000 people total. My wife is the school counselor here at AISC. We went to high school together.
High school sweetheart.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. So like,
how long have you guys been together?
So we started dating in 2009.
Close.
Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah. So
we've 17 years.
Yeah, we've been together for a long time.
Wow.
She's a pretty cool cat. She's super.
We gotta get her on the podcast.
Yeah, for sure. That would be fun. That would be fun. Haley and I record one too. And actually, I just told her we have to record an episode tonight.
And I didn't know that before.
Yeah.
When we first started talking podcast, I was like, cool. He's just a guy into tech like me.
Yeah.
And Haley told me he dabbles.
Yeah.
He dabbles in mics and recording music and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. And then somebody like recently, maybe like a few months ago, told me, check Miles' Instagram. And I was like, oh, that's legit.
Yeah.
I mean, like I was like, the followers, the podcast, that.
Yeah, we go crazy with it.
I mean,
we go crazy
it's like
with
proper
it.
stuff.
It's
man.
so fun.
I was like, oh, this is Joe Rogan I'm talking
to.
And
like, it's so wild. Like, so long story short, I had this social media like boom in 2022 where I had, I mean, the video, I posted some random, I'll tell the story. So I was revealing what musical that we were going to do with my high school that I was at the time in Indianola, Iowa, central Iowa, just south of Des Moines. And we were announcing what musical that we were going to do. And I put all of these different options up on a whiteboard behind me. And so every day I was doing like a reveal. So like I would take 2 musicals down off the board out of the 13 options that I had up on the board behind me. And so it got to the final day where I had pulled all like math. I had pulled 10 of them off and there were 3 left. And I got to the final, there were 2 options left and it was going to be between one of these 2. And I pulled both of those options down and then chaos ensued. And so that video got recorded. That whole process got recorded.
Wow.
With the intention of like, if I have students that miss this musical reveal, they're going to be sad and they're going to want to see what it is.
Yeah.
And so like I put it on my TikTok, which I had only done teacher stuff on my TikTok. So I was like, this isn't inappropriate for a student to follow me because I'm just going to be posting music stuff. I'm not going to be having conversations with any students, anything like that, because there is a line and teachers are sometimes not very good about that. Mm-hmm. I was smart and thought about that right away before we started. But the concept was I'm going to post these videos so that if my students want to see what the musical reveal is, do that. So I posted that. And then like an hour later, I had a friend text me and was like, hey, have you looked at your video recently? And I was like, no. He's like, it's at 1 million views an hour later. And I was like, no way. And so then it just kept going. And to date, it's at like 75 million views.
That's wild.
And so from there, I'm like, okay.
That's on TikTok, right?
That's on TikTok. So that started there. And then from there, I just like more and more things started happening. Like I started recording videos of me doing different like pop warm-ups with my choirs, and so they would sing like "Hey Jude" by the Beatles in a choir style, or we do like "Mr. Brightside" by the Killers in a choir style, and those would regularly get 1 to 10 million views, like, and so it was just crazy, and I just got to be Mr. Finn. I just got to like be myself in front of the camera, and people seem to really, really like that.
Wild. It's funny how life. It's like when you chase something too much. Yeah, it doesn't happen so natural, and then something.
But this one just like popped right in my lap, like it just happened perfect. Yeah, it was so crazy.
That's a good lesson too. I mean, for life. Like sometimes I also realize when I chase something so much, and when in my head it's like that's all I want. Like yes, there is an element of like if you work hard, right, you're gonna get to it at the end of the day because you're just putting so many hours. But sometimes it's just organic.
Sometimes
like as long as you're passionate and you do your thing, and it just or luck takes over. Sure,
but I think that idea of like being organic is so true, because I think so many people try to like force themselves into this idea. Yeah, that's maybe not necessarily authentic to themselves. Yeah. And it's more important to let like I was having fun just nerding out about musicals in front of my kids, and that me being comfortable enough to be that person in front of my students is what people latched onto. Yeah. And not saying that like your whole goal is to be viral on TikTok. That's not the whole goal. Your whole goal is to be authentic to yourself, and good things will happen from there.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's a good message to take. And I mean like that's like with you with pursuing whatever career path made the most sense to you. Like there's a reason that the guy who creates the bunker studio, the guy who creates a studio in a bomb shelter, goes and still wants to pursue music later, because you had that authentic passion for it. And I think that's something that you can take later in life. Yeah, look at us getting all like, we got a little message here.
I see that's how great. This can turn into like 2 hours easy.
100%. Yeah, because we could just roll on ideas for forever.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you. So I want you to talk a little bit about some projects that you're working on, because you have some really, really cool stuff coming out. And I want to make sure that we talk about that, so that people that are maybe, I mean, obviously you don't have classes. So like students don't necessarily talk about Oliver, the guy that's
who's this
doing
guy?
communication
They
stuff.
just see me randomly walking around, for sure. And they're like, oh yeah.
So I mean, like first I talk about that. Like what are you doing here at AISC? Like what's your shtick? What's the stuff that you do?
So the role is called communications manager. That's kind of the umbrella, but that entails the school kind of marketing, the school PR, events, and just in general, like making sure that we are progressing in terms of school branding and design and things like that.
Which, by the way, you're crushing right now.
Thank you.
Seriously, man. Like it's so impressive.
Shy.
Like you're rocking out with it, and like to see all the work that you're going through, like knowing just a little bit of what you're doing behind the scenes, like I'm thoroughly impressed, man. You're killing it right now.
It's just me. I'm kind of. It's not just, and it's not even fully me. I'm the kind of project manager. I think of, I hear an idea, I take it and I make it happen. With people's expertise, and and I will have an idea also, and I get it kind of, I get the leadership team in AISZ to hear me out, to hear my proposal, and if they like it or they give me feedback, and we come up with something cool together, and then I just employ the best people that I can find to make it happen. So, for example, right now this year is big for us because it's 60 years of AISZ.
Oh yeah.
So that is the whole focus of the year. It's refreshing. It's kind of, we love the history of our academic excellence, of everything that we've done, of moving different campuses, coming to this beautiful modern campus. And it's just refreshing everything to be essentially one of the most modern schools in Europe, in the region. That is the goal ultimately, to really be at the forefront of education and innovation for our students.
So one thing before you keep going with that, like it is wild to me, coming from the American public school system to AISC, how it is so important to have such a strong brand to draw people in. Whereas like in my small town of Iowa, it's like this, exactly, this is where you're going. Whereas like this is like, no, we want to show people the amazing stuff that we're doing so that we can bring more people in, because we want as many people as possible to experience this.
But anyway, that was the way, you know, when we moved to Asia, when we moved to China, the way we considered schools was, you know, like, I mean, my parents' work, my mom's job actually, they basically said, like, you can pick any school.
Yeah.
You gotta just go and see which one works for the kids the best.
So you got to shop around a school. So you get to shop around. Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Which is essentially what happens in the international school market, because it is a private schooling system. So essentially whatever is gonna help the students bring out the best in them is gonna draw them to the school. And what drew me into the school is the music program.
Amazing.
So as soon as we heard there is a recording studio, there is instrument
Your
rooms.
ears perked up. You're like,
immediately I told my parents, that's the one.
Yeah, that's cool.
Know, that's the one.
Yeah.
And where I saw in different schools where they don't put emphasis on the music program at all, and they basically don't even have one that good, I was like, that's not for me. And it almost got to a point where me and my sister would go to different schools because I didn't want to go without the music program. I just was so obsessed with the music side that I was like, I need this outlet in my life, you know, like, and I need to make friends who are the same. Right. So we are essentially trying to establish the same thing here.
Yeah.
It's already established. I mean, there's plenty of things that we're doing, that we have been doing, and that are attracting different kids, but it's just that diversity of choice. And we have a lot of modern day roles in the world that probably have not kind of seeped into education yet, in terms of people want to be really TikTokers or influencers or bloggers, or I mean, blogging has been a thing, but vloggers, podcasters, you know, things like this is exactly why we're doing this, you know, because you can teach kids how to set up a podcast.
Exactly.
And what other school is doing that? Like, I don't think there's that many.
Yeah, seriously.
So for a kid who is super into podcasting and interviewing people and wants to be that person to bring the community together and showcase beauty of different life, you know, and life stories, this is the place for them.
Right.
Because they're going to come here and they're going to say, they have a podcast studio.
Yeah.
And I can run a podcast.
Yeah.
You know, it's wild.
It's not something that every school
No, it's such a beautiful concept that you see a kid come in and just like their eyes light up because they see something, they see a corner for themselves in the school.
Right.
And that's something that we're trying to achieve.
Yeah. So you're finding ways to showcase that more.
That is my core kind of purpose here, is to establish as many of the things that are gonna empower students to get involved and ultimately find their place in the universe, essentially. You know, whether
because that's what it is. That's what school is.
That's what it is, right? I mean, that's what it ultimately is. It shouldn't be the book and sit down and read and write on the test. It should be, I've gone to university with my CV already starting to be built,
right? Because I've done these things already. Because
I've ran a podcast for a year,
right?
Or I helped to run a merchandise store at the school. I helped to design clothes for the school. You know, like it's how cool is that? You know, what school do you walk out of and you say, hey, I've helped organize the gala for the school that 300 people attended.
Yeah.
So ultimately it's not like we want to kind of employ kids. Yeah. You know, it's not like we're going to make them actually do some heavy work.
But giving direct life experience, like that's something that I think sometimes sometimes is missed in a general education system, you know, where you don't necessarily have the ability to like lock into these unique things that are going to be directly relevant to the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that I have seen, like I was just talking to a math teacher the other day that was explaining to me multiplication of fractions. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that is an incredibly boring subject. And he's like, no, it's not. And let me explain why. And he showed me like a real world example of it that I was like, I had never thought about it that way, because the schooling system that I had went to, it was like, you have to know the concept. If you don't know the concept, you can't pass the class. Like it was super gray, or not super gray. It was super black and white. And the way that this teacher talked about it was like, no, it's like, have you ever made a recipe before? Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the math that goes. And I was like, oh my God,
that's
like
different.
It totally makes sense. And so to know that there are teachers here that are like directly helping students apply their learning in their class to real world examples like this, or I mean, like even a math teacher being able to do that is wild to me.
Yeah.
And you know, and is so cool to see that happening here. We've got some incredible teachers.
And here. I mean, not to say that public systems don't have, like there are some truly incredible people I've met
For sure.
That taught me in my public schooling when I was a kid. That got me super. I was so passionate about becoming a historian just because my old history teacher when I was a kid. Shout out to Professor Tandaric. She was in Buko at school. She was incredible in the way she told stories. About like ancient Egypt, Greece, even like Croatian history up to like kind of the recent stuff, the world wars, etc. I mean, it was just incredible, paired with like trips and with a very minimal, I would assume there was zero budget, with the school to like do much other than just be a very incredible storyteller and go on an occasional field trip with the kids. And I know not everybody was interested, but to me, she was like always, I was like in the class like this, listening. And I know I made her angry a few times because I like to talk to people and I love to ask her so many questions about stuff, but I'm sure she saw that I was passionate about her subject. Because,
for sure.
And she was an incredible teacher. I'm sure she still is. But that's the kind of community that this school is building for sure. I think that's the people, like every teacher is like that. That's the wild part.
But for you to be able to feature stuff like that, like what sort of work are you doing on the regular? Like I've been thoroughly impressed with you showing up to events after school and doing social media for that. And I think those are like more obvious ones. Like, because when you think communications and marketing, like you kind of assume that it's going to be, social media is obviously playing a big role in that. So I think that's one that people are maybe going to be a little bit more accustomed to. But like, what are some things that you're doing that you would say are maybe that you're excited about with this role?
I guess the kind of core of everything was the branding of the school. Mm-hmm. When I came into the school, I saw that whatever I do, that branding is gonna like, be like the octopus.
Yeah.
Just everything that I do comes from that.
It's related to that.
It's related to the school brand guideline, essentially.
For sure.
And I saw that the guideline, first of all, wasn't that clear. Like we had a clear guideline, but then we had variations of a lot of things. And we had a clear guideline, but like things like 7 school colors. So to me, I was like, it just kind of, it was tricky to make people like tie everything into like, this is AISZ.
Right.
Without, 7 colors, you can imagine. And then I saw the jerseys are of different colors and all this kind of stuff. And like, how do you get a community built with 7 colors of jerseys and what is going to be on the stand? 7 colors?
Exactly.
Which team is representing what color, or what color is representing what team? So my first goal really was to clean up that brand a little bit and create a solid brand guide with like a dominant color.
Cool.
And some like fresher look, and not change it, not reinvent the wheel, but just add a little bit of, varnish.
Yeah, a little spice. Throw a little spice in there.
WD-40.
Exactly. Yeah.
Smoothen everything out.
But seriously, and that's kind of the whole purpose, is just to like be able to, one, give it longevity, but also make it like easily recognizable, like this is us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's one of the, I guess, first objectives, and we did that. We have a new clear brand guide now. Dominant color is blue.
Yep.
Go Bears.
Go Bears. Go Bears. Yeah.
We have 1 bear logo, not 6.
Yeah, exactly.
The school logo is still the same. Bear logo is pretty much the same, but it's just kind of became very clear. Like, dominant color, main corporate logo, school logo, main athletic logo with athletic font, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like there's
clarity,
no nonsense, it's just clear.
Yep.
So now whatever we're using,
it's going to have that on it.
It's going to have that on it. So, and then it went from there, So like, now the main campaigns for the 60th anniversary, we're building a history wall, which is going to showcase, highlight years of our past 60 years as a school. And it's going to be in the hallway between the admin office and the French classrooms.
Yeah. That's great.
So we're gonna build it on the side, where
just on like the first floor,
where just like right outside just outside there on the left side.
Yeah,
where there's a little glass door and it's showing people eating food inside.
Oh yeah, and the teachers' lounge. Perfect.
We're covering that up.
I actually heard this, and then the teachers that normally eat in there were like, "Yes, thank you."
And we don't have to wave 100 times while eating food.
Hi. Yep. Go to PE. Thanks. Yeah. That's
so
awesome.
we're covering that up with a history wall, but it's going to be a beautiful wall. It's going to be this big blue structure. From one side, you'll be able to see like a perforated message. It's almost like a staircase.
Oh,
and then
I see what you're doing.
To see the letters on every section that connect into this one message, you know?
Yeah.
And then from the other side, you're going to see the years.
Very
there's
cool.
There's going to be lighting from top, bottom.
Dude.
It's going to be a nice
Good
wall.
work.
Yeah. So this is like my events experience.
Yeah.
This is what we would do for like luxury clients.
Sure.
Build these kind of history walls and stuff. So I was like, hey, why not have the school have an elevated history wall? Because I saw another school had like a history wall, but it was like almost like pasted onto a wall.
Sure.
It was just a white wall.
This is our history. Like, no. Make it look nice.
When you walk in, you want to be like, wow, what's that?
Right.
You know, and
like we are standing on the shoulders of those who have come before us. Like you want to be able to showcase what has happened before and then continue to grow, right?
So that's now that you said that, we are going to have 2 empty panels at the end that are going to basically say legacy is yours to make. Something like that.
Look at him go. Look at him go.
I mean, the idea is that it's not just showcasing the history, but it's also inspiring the kids at the school that the greatness that they achieve at this school is remembered and potentially will be shown on our history wall as well. So we thought about it. So that's one of the kind of structures that we're working on.
That's great.
We were working on the media wall, which will be at the entrance instead of our current COVID wall that we have. So it's going to replace that, and it's going to showcase it's going to be this big branded wall with a TV that's going to showcase upcoming campaigns, activations taking place at the school. Currently, we have 60 acts of kindness.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the first campaign shown. And there's going to be a QR code, ideally, that students can submit their sort of
acts of kindness and stuff.
You know, whatever campaign we're collecting.
Oh, sure.
Your favorite memories from this year at the school or whatever.
Yeah.
That on the side where the yonder pouches get taken off.
Yeah.
That's where the kids can scan the QR code and just submit like a quick picture with a text saying like, I really loved the moment when we beat another basketball team.
Yeah.
You know, or
cool
something
memories.
Like this. A cool memory, a picture that they already took. They submit it to me, and we collect a cool collection of stories, to highlight on the wall.
Yeah.
So that's the media wall.
That's awesome.
We're also working on a merchandise store.
Yeah, which I'm pumped about.
That's a big
which
one,
is great.
Yeah.
That was something like in the States, there was always like, okay, the football team has their season, and so now you can buy all this football gear, or here's the baseball team's gear. And it was like every season you could buy 100 t-shirts. Like it was always just like so many different options, which was crazy. And so that was something I had to get used to coming here, is that like, oh, I can't get an AISZ shirt anywhere. Like, what do I do that? So I was like, yes, when that came out.
So
I was
that has to happen. I mean, that just had to happen.
It's smart. It's brilliant.
We just everybody was kind of begging for merchandise. People were like, what do we have? And we do have like corporate stuff, like pens and stuff, and like stickers.
Right.
But I think clothing items were a massive, like something that the school just was like really wanting, the school community, and now it's opening. So so we went ahead, like the process was we opened an online platform. And basically through that online platform, we featured like a select amount of products, and we are only launching it now to staff first to test. Yeah. Just for this month.
Make sure the website's working, make sure all the products come in nice.
That's
and all
it.
That.
Yeah. Exactly. Like that's the main thing for me is I went to the factory where they're printing the stuff, tested all the product, but now I want to see how it looks with the print.
Right.
Just correct a few items before it actually opens for the general public. You know?
Teachers will be sometimes blatantly, but they'll be the most honest with you.
They will give feedback.
They will give you your the exact feedback that you need.
You know, we
sometimes
say,
more than you need.
In
but
Croatia, we say they don't have a hair on their tongue.
Sure, I've never heard that.
Yeah, they don't bite their tongue for sure. They will say this doesn't work or this whatever. Yeah, so it's helpful, super helpful. I got a lot of feedback, and it was taken on board, changed, ready for the official launch.
Yeah.
So now we're kind of already like
geared up for that.
Geared up for it, yeah. So it's launching soon to the community. And then the idea is that hopefully we'll have spirit wear days, people wearing spirit wear all the time.
Yeah.
Basketball games, people show up in their hoodies and fleece and t-shirts. So that's the idea. And of course, most importantly is then being able to feature cool collections like our Bridges program, which is our special ed program, basically now partnered with Best Buddies, which is this company that basically, I mean, it's an initiative to, help kids with special needs and neurodivergent children and students. So they partnered with us, and we are their kind of official now entry into Croatia. They weren't present in Croatia before, and they give us rights to utilize their basically their licensed logos, etc., onto our merchandise now. So we're gonna do a collection for Best Buddies, and all of the proceeds from that will go back to Best Buddies to support their program, and just support the kids who are part of the program.
That's so cool.
So like this is the idea,
like directly applicable stuff. Like that's going to be helping
also
people.
Students interested in design ultimately, who want to do clothing design, who want to become, fashion designers or open their own merchandise stores. They can come and they can say, "Hey, Mr. Oliver, can we do a t-shirt design?"
Yeah.
And then we can launch it, you know? That's it, and then that money can go towards student council for their whatever they're planning, or something like that. So it's just to build this community around it as well. Yeah.
That is so cool. Especially with like the sporting events, and now you just have a wave of the same color of blue is going to be cool. Yeah. And like some just more, again, uniformity there, I think is
and not to say it's always going to be like just blue clothing.
For sure.
Like we want to enable, I think I'm going to enable soon like white, gray, black.
Yeah.
Even some.
But just having that logo will be just more relevant.
Yeah, exactly, and when we do things like Pink Awareness Month,
right?
Then we're going to do pink t-shirts especially for that. Like it's cool. Like you can do a lot of things with like a merchandise store. It features your branding and people are wearing it and they're proud to wear it and present it. And it's not just, it is a marketing tool that you can then take outside of school and different parents will see it and say, "Oh, American School of Zagreb."
Right.
It sticks to like other people's mind a little bit, and they go and research it and potentially come to us and bring us new students.
But the best is to build the culture.
It's building the culture.
Right. And then letting the culture speak for itself, exactly. I think is
that's
what you're
I would say the
on.
primary purpose is building the culture.
And that's one thing I've been thoroughly impressed with Darren. Just like he was talking the other day about like the idea that when we are all experiencing the same thing, like when we're all wearing the same shirt or whatever, that we have a bigger sense of community because of that.
Yeah.
Obviously there are so many other things at play and I'm well aware of that. But the idea, that concept playing into building culture, I was like, I never thought about that. Yeah. Coming from the American school system, like everyone had a purple shirt on, like, okay, this makes sense. Or purple and yellow were our colors. And so you're talking about like the having 7 school colors. I was like, yeah, I didn't even think purple and yellow, or like my high school was black and orange. So it was like I was used to just like 2 colors max, or 1 color was your primary and then 1 is your like secondary. But
yeah, exactly.
Being able to then connect that to community is pretty wild and not something that I had necessarily thought about.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. So that's another project. I think the sort of biggest one I'm working on at the moment is the gala.
Yeah.
We're going to have the big gala night to celebrate 60 years at the Sheraton Hotel.
That'd be cool.
That's a cool one. This is where I get to really like showcase my direct, like expertise in events, organizing. So that's fun.
Yeah.
That's great. And that's going to, like I'm working with designers to create like key visuals. I'm building a ticketing platform for that. Cool. It's a lot of these things. Another thing that we're working on is the flag carrying day. I think that's what they call it.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of it. I haven't experienced it
like
yet.
International Day or something, which is quite cool also. Yeah. But we have a lot of campaigns happening in the school. So
that's
very excited for that. So yeah. And more. Honestly, there's more that we now are in discussion.
And this is just the first year. Like that's the cool thing. You can just keep building.
I know it can be a lot for some people who have been here for a while, and to say like things are changing too fast, and change can be scary.
Yeah, for sure.
So I do recognize that, and I'm not here also to, and it's not just me. I mean, there's a lot of people working on changing things, but we're not here to also like change everything that this school was about before.
Continuing to build upon. we're continuing to build upon what has come before.
Like the foundation has been built. We're not
crushing the foundation and then rebuilding. It's like we're building on the beautiful things that have already happened.
And it's important to remember that like ultimately, if we don't change, others will go to a place that embraces change more and modernizes and brings things that others are interested in. Yeah. So it is important, like we see the Budapest school, we see the Belgrade school, we see the Paris school, we see all these schools around us, Vienna, like there are schools that are every day, like completely like kind of rebranding, rebuilding, refreshing, bringing in new ideas. And we want to be in that conversation. Like we want to be proud to be in this school and say, hey, we are like really, we have been certified the only, I think, fully carbon neutral campus or something like that, you know, like in Europe.
For sure. It's amazing.
Wild, no? Yeah. We're here.
Right.
So why not build more of that, and do some things that other schools just never even thought of doing?
Yeah.
And ultimately what's going to happen is other schools are probably going to see this podcast and be like, hey,
we got to start a podcast.
We need the podcast, maybe some schools have it. I don't want to say like we're not the first.
Right.
But I'm sure that we're going to inspire friendly competition.
Yeah.
And what it is, it's not to be better than them. It's everybody just pushing each other to be as best as we can be for the kids, for the students.
Exactly. And that's, if that's the goal in mind, you're never wrong. You're
never wrong.
And that's the beautiful thing. It's like we're doing all of these things for the betterment of our school community and for the betterment of the experience that the kids get to have.
Exactly.
Like I'm excited for my son to get a chance to come through this school. He's a 4-year-old. He's in pre-K right now. And just like to see all of the changes that are happening, I'm like, this is somewhere that I want to send my son. This is somewhere that I want my son to get a chance to experience, which is a beautiful thing to say.
Yeah.
And it is really important.
Yeah. And like if your son really wants to like follow in your footsteps and do something as cool as what you're doing, and like he's going to have a place to learn.
Exactly.
That,
Yeah. And spread his wings and not follow in my footsteps too.
And
that's the cool thing is that he has the opportunity to like try it. And try the things that really trip his trigger and get him excited about whatever he's doing, which is cool.
Yeah.
All right, should we wrap this thing up?
Let's wrap it up.
Let's do it.
I think it felt right.
That was great.
Here.
Yeah, that was awesome. You're the man. Okay, so we are gonna try to. I don't know what our schedule was for releasing episodes. You and I have talked about a couple different things, I think. But we're going to try to make this a relatively regular thing, bringing on different guests and things like that.
As we go along, I hope to make it even more and more frequent, like maybe now it'll be once every 3 weeks or 4 weeks, but I would say you never know, like if we record one a week or it's going to go faster and faster. I guess how the editing also, like if we get in the groove of like quick edit, put it together, release.
Yeah.
And we hope to have it on Spotify.
Yep.
Apple Podcasts.
Apple. Get it on YouTube.
Everywhere.
Whatever it's going to be. But YouTube, so we've got it recorded and people can see us, which is cool. But and we'll have some fun guests that are coming on. We'll have a chance to do some fun things and have more fun conversations, which I'm excited about.
That's the idea. All walk of life from the school community, from even around the school community, you know, just anybody who wants to share a story and bring some new perspective into this and to the students or to whoever is watching.
For sure.
That would be great.
That's huge. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. Well, thanks for being my first guest, man.
Thank you for being my first host.
Is this your first podcast ever? Dude, my man. Welcome to the game.
I've never done this before.
It's so fun.
Once I was on like some radio or something for like a quick
little snippet.
Yeah, because like my girlfriend at the time, she was a radio DJ.
Oh, sure.
And then she let me just try out the booth a little bit and just say something into the mic, and it was fun, but never for real. So this one is official.
It's cool. It's cool. All right, man. Thanks for being here. You're awesome.
Thank you.